material world is an illusion, or the kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth and man sees it not, that no material thing can ever make you happy. Like, this idea is like culturally reiterated everywhere and assiduously ignored everywhere. And because, let's face it, we live in a culture that is dominated by economic ideologies, materialistic ideologies, sort of for good and for ill. There are historical achievements, moments of greatness that are beyond what our culture values now, that are now neglected, dormant and ignored, precisely because they are at odds with the faith structures that currently define us. We already live in a religious society. We live in an ideological fundamentalist society that believes in materialism, wealth, consumerism, and necessarily mobilizes our deeper instincts in order to facilitate the advancement of those systems. I.e., any commercial you watch on television that has like families embracing each other at an airport, or like a sort of a bit of lens flare as a sort of a mother and child look at each other, this is mobilizing what we know to be true. Love is everything. We're all connected. But those ideas would lead ultimately to the decimation of many of the cultural institutions that are beneficial to the most powerful people and institutions in society. So those ideas have to be repressed, negated, reframed, diluted and neutered. Fame kind of mimics deeper forms of greatness. Fame now is, speaking generally, an extension of commerce. I'm not saying there aren't famous people that are great. There plainly are. Greatness can be an inadvertent factor within fame, but it is not a defining one any longer, because greatness so frequently comes at a price. That a lot of people in like a corporate and commercial industries don't necessarily want to pay. And look, speaking personally, the reason I wanted to be famous was because I felt insufficient and inadequate as I was. And who knows what choices I would have made if I'd have had access to spiritual principles as a child and as a young man. If people said, look, there's something in you that you've got gifts and stuff, why don't you explore those gifts in this direction? So I just naturally, because in the absence of that, I took the gifts in the dominant direction of our culture. The magnetism of our culture is, if you come from where I come from, Grays, Essex, a sort of ordinary suburban town, half an hour outside of London, low expectation, beautiful, incredible people. I realise that now that I've gone back there and visited it. I couldn't see that then because I was too solipsistic and lost in myself and my ambition and my hunger, my drive, my appetites. I got big appetites, drive, and for me, what I was kind of told, look, at my school, if you're not good at football or fighting, you're nothing. And in the culture at large, if you don't get yourself some power, you're going to get crushed. You're getting crushed. You're going to a factory or a call centre. That's what life has in store for you. For me, it was the answer. It was the answer to the feeling of inadequacy. It was the answer that my culture offered me. That's what it offers you. It's what it offers all of us. And we're all bombarded with it, but only a few of us are going to get the golden ticket. There's just not enough golden tickets to go around. And those of us that do get it, as Jim Carrey has eloquently articulated, are going to recognise its limitations.
I've often said that I wished people could realize all their dreams and wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to find your sense of completion.
Now, I'm lucky that I'm at heart a comedian, and I love comedy. And as I've gotten older, I've realised that there's the divinity in comedy. That comedy is about revelation. That comedy requires that you observe that life is a joke. Life is a joke. None of this is real. Here I am pretending to be me. You're pretending to be you. We've all got our insecurities and our inadequacies. We know the things we've done. We know the mistakes we've made. We know what we do in the bathroom. We know what we do when we're alone. We know the sort of weird things we've said to people, and like all of this stuff. And we put on this mask and this facade. Fame merely being an amplification of that. Fame mimics greatness. Fame is bolted on to greatness. A friend of mine said, even in your pursuit of fame, it was obvious that what you were after was God, was a kind of like, but the culture doesn't know how to give you God. The culture doesn't want to give you God. The culture doesn't, and what I mean by God, I talk now, mate, about Sesame Street values. Sesame Street values. This is nothing complicated. Kindness. Be kind to each other. If you're kind to each other, everything else is gonna melt away. You're like that takes care of. Don't judge people for being different. Don't judge people. That all goes out the window. Just if you devote yourself to the simple principle of kindness. The idea of God for me is the same idea as love. That there is a magnetism towards one another. Yes, there is a revulsion, a repulsion, a competition. There is, everything has its shadow. Everything has its opposite and beyond opposites, I'm sure. But there is also love. There is this sense, and by love, I mean, and etymologists who studied the word love in many languages posit that what we actually mean is union, connection. I love you. I want to be connected to you. I love these shoes. I've got to have them. I love West Ham United. I want them to do well as I would do well myself. Love, of course, can get confused and intermingled with lust, control, need for approval. All sorts of things can get intermixed with love. But you will know love when you are willing to sacrifice, when you see it as something you serve as opposed to something that serves you. This is like, I'm married, and sometimes I think with my wife, that my love is about, I want her to take care of me, and I recognise, hold on a minute, that's not love, that's my codependency, that's my neediness, that's the part of me that's still a wounded little boy. But the man in me has to take care of this wounded little boy, not invite or require that other people do it. Love is when I'm willing to just, again, Sesame Street values. When I'm like, I love you. What you want is more important than what I want. I can't live to those values every day, or even all day for one day. I fall short all the time. It's about me and what I want and what I care about. And we don't have enough clear, simple principles that seem universal and perennial, i.e. applicable everywhere and timeless. Applicable everywhere and timeless. I know we're all different. I know we are diverse. I know we are unique. But most of us have a heart, lungs, kidneys, blood, eyes. Most of us breathe. So is it not likely that there is a kind of universal application on a more sublime level also? That if we are the same organically, is it not likely that the energies from which these organs must surely have evolved are similar to, possibly even one, possibly even the same energy? That the same way as we know that we come from a common ancestor, that we come from a common energy with a common heart, that our unity is more true than our separation. As the great Terence McKenna says, when the water of illusion drains away, we see that we are all connected. We are all connected.